think it's on. Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm just checking in. It's Barbara. Um, and I'm here because, of course, I have something else to be doing, but I am distracted and needed to get away for a minute to, give myself just a breather for a minute. Um, I'm doing it live so that I can record it here for you and also, be able to interact with you as much as possible. But one of the things that I wanted to be able to talk about today, and it's important today because of all, that's going on in our lives right now. Hopefully you can hear me well. I'm outside. You can hear the birds, but you'll also be able to hear life going back and forth behind me as people are moving back and forth throughout the world, and probably the dogs too. You'll hear that. But anyway, I wanted to I always find things to do in the garden the same way as our lives are. There's always work to do in the garden, and as soon as one project gets finished, there's another one waiting for you to take care of. And so this is one that I'm choosing to take care of today, and it's so appropriate because it's right on the heels of the last Meet Me in the Dirt moment we had, where we talked about going from seed to promise, and about how from one station in life we have to relinquish what we knew, or what the seed knew to be normal for that stage, to go be buried and then to emerge as a fuller version of itself. And so that's been on my mind a lot, and that's actually something we should always think about. We should always be thinking about becoming more of ourselves, becoming more fuller versions of ourselves. And so this particular project is one that will bring that to life. This plant is a gift, honestly. Years ago, there's a funny man, Mr. Willie, that used to work with us, and shout out to my old PCMM co-workers. But this is a memorial plant that was given because he passed away. But he was such a great man. Old school people, that, and one of those old school stand-up guys that really tried to dot his I's and cross his T's on everything. And in life, that's not always valued, especially in this day and time. A lot of people are valuing quantity over quality. And he was a quality kind of guy. Like, he wanted to make sure everything was done well before he, turned his work in. And then that wasn't always the best thing. But anyway, he passed away. And one of the gifts that was given at his funeral was this peace lily plant. And it's been in our office for the last 6 years. And so who knows how long it lived before then, but this is at least 6 years old, this peace lily. And it was taken care of inside of an office environment, inside of just like a commercial building. So there was no natural. It was kind of near a window, but it was really just the lights that we have at work. It was just those lights. And so it adapted to that environment, and it has lived that way for 6 years. And so when the office closed, I asked if I could have it, and they agreed. And I'm so grateful to be able to have this piece of this memento of that time in our lives, because it's just a sign of this is human life too, right here. And so let me tell you what I was thinking. Hopefully y'all doing okay. I see some of y'all online. Thank you for joining. This right here is just a sign. This is what I was thinking of this morning, and just over the past week, longer than that, honestly. The nature, the stage of this plant is like exactly where we are right now in life too. There's areas of it that is thriving. There's, new little buds, not buds, but new little leaves coming. I don't know if you can see through here, the new little leaves that are, growing in here. And this has probably been here about three weeks or so at home with me. But what has also happened, let me turn it around so that you can see this. What has also happened is this. Can you see the yellow parts? I'm sure you can. That is a reaction to change. And change in environments, change in what it's used to. And it's not that the environment that it was in in the commercial building was the best environment for it, but it was what it was used to. And so for whatever reason, it thrived on that level, but it doesn't mean necessarily that it was bad or good. It just adapted. And now with COVID, that's what's going on right now. But I mean, honestly, we've had other things happen in our lives that totally shifted things as we know it and change the way that we needed to operate in life, right? And so this plant, this peace lily plant, has gone from a commercial building environment where it just received water occasionally now to a residential environment where it has flower friends. It doesn't have any humans except for me taking care of it, but it's outside now. It's going to adapt to a new environment. It must adapt to a new environment in order for it to thrive, and I think it will. It'll get enough light out, and I'll take care of it. But the thing that it really made me think about as I was looking at it is that our life is full of all kind of things, and it can't stay like this. Like this is a culmination of old and new and dead. Old, new, and dead. And during this crisis, that's what we're starting to see too. A lot of things, because we're spending so much time by ourselves, we're starting to see a lot of dead things emerge, or just things die or change because we've been forced into a new environment. Even if you're at home, it's still how many people have been at home all day, every day, and forced to be there? Not because you wanted to be, but forced to be there. And so because of that environment, we have been shocked, and this plant has been shocked too. And the result of that shock is death to some of these leaves right here, death to those. And so, or even you can see the process of dying, even if they've not gone all the way, you can see the process of dying. There are some on here, you can see right here, there are some that did die already due to the shock, but majority of it is still thriving. And so I wanted to show you how it's amazing how we can make correlations between our lives and nature, and especially in this moment right now where we need something to be able to pull our attention away from the chaos. The chaos is here too. It's in every facet of life, but we have control over some things. We do have control, and right now I have control over this plant. And if that's all that you can have control over, get yourself a plant. If that's a start, right? And so part of removing some of these things that are dying or the things that are already dead, when you think about like your life, what is it time to get rid of, right? It's going to be, this is therapeutic too. Even you watching me cut out all the dead stuff is going to help you relax too. So welcome. You're welcome in advance. But it should, I really wanted to prompt you to think about what things you want to cut out in your life. What is coming up for you that you notice is a hindrance, and that doesn't, what shock is occurring, that won't allow the fullness just to be everywhere. What is on the fringes of life that causes us to, waste our energy. Part of these dead branches, the reason why they have to go is because the plant actually is working harder to send energy to those dead places. And that happens with us too. Trying to, even if I was to fertilize this in its current state, that fertilizer would work great on the leaves that are lively and that are doing well, but it would be wasted on those things that are dead. Those leaves that are dead right here, it doesn't need, the fertilizer would be wasted there. And we want to make sure that the things that we keep in our life in this season are things that can grow and that are thriving. At the end of the pruning of this plant and removing all the dead things, I'm going to be able to see, for a moment anyway, nothing but green liveliness. I'm going to remove everything that doesn't serve this plant anymore, and I'm going to leave nothing but the thriving parts of it. That is momentary, and that's the same way with us in our lives. It's not always that we will have green, thriving things in our life, areas where everything is going well. And so we have to take the good with the bad and be honest with ourselves when we see that something's not going well or it's not serving a good purpose for us. We have to be honest about that and get help. These are help. You got to find tools to be able to use to cut some things out of your life that are not serving you well anymore. I use my hands, I use scissors, You may even, depending on what you're pruning, you may need to call in some reinforcements, a gardener. You may need to call in, just a specialist, a gardener or a therapist, or, someone that can help you unpack all of what's going on here. If you've let too much build up, if you've allowed too much to stay dormant in there, you may need to call in reinforcements. The more that I'm cutting, I'm looking. Let me just pull this up. This dirt has never been changed. And if you can see that, you see there's a lot that needs to come out. It's going to take a while. I see the hearts there. Thank you for that. There's a lot that needs to come up. And I'm going to change some of this dirt. I'm going to do the best I can to take care of it in memory of my friends at PCMM and in memory of Mr. Willie. But again, this is all in an effort to also remind us that it's time for us to take note of what needs to change in our lives and remove those things that are obviously dead, in order to operate in the new way of living. And every one of us, has a new way right now. And honestly, we're not going back to the old way. It's not there anymore. Our old way of living is not possible anymore. And so, does it mean that when you cut away these old things that it never happened, even though you won't see them on this plant? Nope. You see, they're right there. You see all the trash that I'm putting right in front. You see the old stuff, and all those things will still be memories in your life, the old stuff, but it doesn't help you anymore. Some of the thoughts, the ways you used to think about things, that won't help you in this season. It's dead. Never to come back again, hopefully, for some of them, some relationships, some habits. It's a great time to break free from those things that held you down. And when we remove majority of this, I feel like I give the plant energy and room to grow new branches. I'm making room for it to send its energy to the new stuff, the new growth. This is a very easy plant to take care of, but you see what happened when it got shocked. Some stuff just was like, Some of these branches checked out, and that's some of us. When shock comes, when newness comes in life, do you check out? Just shrivel up? We all do that sometimes. But remember, in order for us to thrive on the new level that's coming, we're going to need to learn new ways of living. We're going to need to get in there and do our work. This plant could have sat there. I could have just continued to water it the way it was and not care about all those obvious brown leaves that were there. I could have let that stay. And who cares, right? I'm the only one back here looking at it. I'm the only one that would have been, bothered by it. But if there's something that's bothering you and that's coming up in your life right now, deal with it. Get whatever it takes to cut it out. Get whatever it takes. Call a friend. Start yourself first. Identify what it is. Some of the brown areas in your life, the things that are dying. Identify where they are. Get all the way down in there. You got to get to the root of some things, right? Write it down. Tell a trusted friend about it. Ask, someone that has gone through some things or through the thing that you've gone through. Ask them, how did they get beyond that? How did they change or adapt to the changes that came in life? This is just one change, y'all. There's so many more to come. And just like this plant is never going back into that commercial setting at my old job, we're never going back to what we used to do either in that same way. We're never going back even to the same people that we were then. We're different now too. We are absolutely different now too. And so if you're just now joining me, I was pruning this peace lily plant that has suffered shock because it's been taken out of its environment. And I was making that correlation between how our real life, that occurs in our real life too, and how it doesn't mean that, all is lost and that everything is falling apart. No, some things must die. Some things will die. That's the nature of our lives. That's what's going on in the garden all the time, and that's what happens in our lives. Habits, relationships, and everything is not meant to last forever. And we have to be okay with the cycle of things. Allowing the cycle to take its course and taking our cues from nature. Allowing everything to run its course. And there's some things that have already run its course. Some of these leaves, again, this plant is 6 years old. And so some of these leaves have been around. Leaves come and go. This plant has all kind of secrets in it. All kind of people walk by and murmur things. That kept it alive or that made it sad. You never know. You never know. It's seen all kind of trials and triumphs in that department. It was in the billing department at work, and they are a very high stress group. I would go back there and try to make them laugh, and I would get shooed away because it's very difficult for me to be quiet, period. And so they're usually very quiet and trying to stay focused, and here comes Barbara with all that noise and giggling. I think they enjoyed it sometimes, but at other times it was a bit much. I could be a bit much, and that's okay. You're a bit much sometimes, aren't you? When you're just being yourself. Getting down to the roots. That's what I'm doing now. Getting down to the roots and removing old branches, old thoughts, old parts of myself, old parts of this plant anyway, and thinking about old parts of myself and my character that can die right now, that I won't need in this new season that we're going into. I won't need certain things that I used to think about. I won't need that because I need my brain free and clear so that I can fill it with the new things that God wants me to be thinking about in this season that's coming up. Does it change everything about you when you cut away and remove the old? Because what happens? You see all that? What happens when you remove so much? Will I still be myself? Yes. Will this plant still be a peace lily? Yes. Will it still thrive? Yep. Because my intention is there, and I'm going to add some new soil to it, and I'm going to fertilize it, and I'm going to give it what it needs to support the new environment. It's not going to be in that dim, area anymore. And so in order for it to thrive here with me now, it needs some fertilizer, and it needs my love. It needs for me to keep coming in and checking the roots. Not obsessively, although I can do that too. But time to clean up. Time to clean it out. Pull it up. pull up those things that are dead. Acknowledge life is changing and that life will require a different version of you in this new season. And you will have all the strength that you gained from your old experiences. They are not dead. Just because I pruned and pulled away some of these old branches, it's still you. It's still the same plant. But now it can devote its energy to supporting these new baby leaves that are coming up, and possibly even giving me a flower one day. This peace lily is supposed to give a flower. Hey, Aubrey, let's see what you're saying, brother. Barbara, I always enjoy your videos and your transformation. Oh, oh, bless you, bless you, bless you. I miss you, Aubrey. Thank you so much for always being a constant source of inspiration for me and support, period, through all my dreams. Barbara's Delight dreams, Yet She Rises dreams, marriage, everything. Thank you for that. And so, let's see. That's looking better already. Can you tell? Those of you that's been watching the whole time, look at that. This is us. This is us. And this is also us. Look at all of this. This is the old stuff that needed to die. It needed to go away. There's no way that we can live in this new environment. This piece really cannot adapt to this new environment, holding on to all that old trash. And so I just hope that this analogy that I gave you today, and even you being able to look at me work in the garden, that's therapeutic. Even you doing it. Ooh, sorry if my mic got moved, but you physically working in the garden, or you watching gardening or nature type videos, anything like that, is absolutely helpful for you. And I'm praying that some of the things that I said to you today will help you think about our new normal post-COVID, because that's not the last thing that's coming our way. That's not the last change that's coming. And we're built for this. This peace lily was built for a commercial environment as well as it was built for my garden. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that it can adapt well. I'm going to check in with it the same way that I'm going to check in with myself and make sure that I'm not dealing with my stuff. I'm not going to allow these old leaves to just hang on there again, and pretend like I don't see the stuff that's not working in my life. And you shouldn't do that either. If there's some things that you know that are a little bit off, deal with it now. Deal with it. It's coming up right now. That shock that you experienced in these leaves, it's intended to make you do something, to take action. And this action that I'm taking right now is exactly what this plant needed in order for us to, hey, Aubrey, you're welcome, thank you. It's exactly what this plant needed in order for it to thrive even more. And so this, the ones that have a little bit of brown leaves on it, that could be from too little water or too much water, the change in lighting, all of that. And so I'm not going to take those leaves off just yet. I'm going to leave those because the majority of them are okay. I mean, if it was like completely yellow like this, I would take it all the way off. But no, it looks like it's pretty like it's okay for now. I'm going to move all of this so that at the end of this video you'll be able to see that when we remove all of the junk in our lives, that's the junk. That's the junk. And removing junk in our lives is a constant thing, right? It's not a one-time deal. We will always have to tend the garden. There's always work to do in the garden of our lives. Always. Branches to remove, roots to pull up, weeds, to make sure are not there any longer. But every day I'm pulling weeds, every day. You see this now? I'll give you a little fashion show. Who else does fashion shows with gardening? Look at that. See? So now we can thrive a little bit better. It's breathing. It's breathing. This has it's not, the dead weight is not there anymore. It's able to spread out a little bit more because I've removed those old branches, right? And so I'm gonna get in here a little bit more too, and I'm gonna add some more good soil and some soil conditioner to this, because it hasn't ever had any. I'm gonna introduce, and that's what you do. That's what's necessary this time too. Introduce some new stuff, a new thing. What does the Lord say about, I've come to do a new thing? And so introduce some new fertilizer, some new soil to your life. What is it that God wants you to do and be? That's something we're focusing on in our ministry right now. What is new for you right now? What's coming up that you feel like is inspired? You're inspired to do right now. And so this shows me that without all that dead weight hanging on, I can see clearly about how where my blooms might come up. I can see clearly newness, and this is much more encouraging than seeing that all those dead leaves hanging everywhere. So find your newness, introduce some fertilizer, make sure you're watering. If you're taking care of a peace lily in the home, a lot of times people have peace lilies in their homes, and just keep it in bright light if it's inside your house. In bright light, water when you can tell. This is a telltale sign. This plant is great because it tells you when it wants something. The same way you should be paying attention to yourself in that way. This plant, when it needs water, it does this. Remember that. It does that. Its leaves just hang over like that, and it's like saying, I'm sad. And so when you feel that, same thing. Learn to give yourself what you need at the times that you need it. When you feel yourself doing that, get into action. Action is what's necessary in this season in our lives. So this plant, it'll start to droop when it needs water, fertilizer every so often. I have let me see. Can you see this? This is just some Miracle-Gro. This isn't, it's $3, $4, $5, something like that. And you can just mix it into the top soil, and as you water it, this waters it for 3 months. It nourishes above, feeds for up to 3 months. So just put a little bit of this in all of your plants. That's what I do. Not in my vegetables so much, but I put this in my plants to keep them happy. And who knows if it works? I don't know. And that's not even the point. I have hope that it does. And gardeners are the last of the hope dealers. Gardeners, any gardener you meet, that's a person that you keep around you, because that person has hope. Like they can see beyond anything. Because for you to plant a garden, that means that you have like this vision of what's going to be there way before it ever, arrives. And that means that they have the patience to be able to wait until it comes. And those are some good people to keep in your corner. You keep you a Barbara. You keep you a Barbara, a version of Barbara. Anyway, I'll let you go. I got to get back to doing some of those things that I was escaping to. But I wanted to come and do this project with you, to share with you ways to adapt to change, even though life is going on all around us. I wanted to show you how to remove, some of those old habits, those old thought patterns, old relationships, just old thinking, stinking thinking, and just to be able to thrive again, focus on what's thriving, add in some fertilizer, add in water, be able to notice within yourself when you're drooping, when you can tell that you're not doing your best, when you're not feeling great. Hey, Charlotte Tatum. Hey, Lori. Hey, Ruth. Be able to add in all the things that you need into your own life, the same way that I'm adding exterior or external things into the garden, into this plant, to make sure that it's thriving. You need to do that for yourself too. Don't sit around and wait for, hey Sochi, don't sit around and wait for it to die, for things that are healthy in your life to die. Pay attention to it and nurture it so that it can continue to keep you encouraged throughout this process, okay? So that's all I wanted to share with you. I look forward to talking with you again on Sunday, where we'll sit down and have our first meal together. That salad container that I planted on our very first Meet Me in the Dirt episode. We're gonna wash some of that salad off and have ourselves a good old time talking and eating. So anyway, this is in honor of Mr. Willie and of PCMM and all the people who help this, who continue to water this dream at once upon a time, and now it's my turn. It's my turn. So it's your turn too. It's time for you to water whatever is working in your life, and whatever is not working, get rid of it. Pull it up from the roots and get rid of it, okay? This is Barbara Lawson. I love y'all. Bye. Hey. Oh. Bye, bye, bye. Bye, Lori. Bye.